Hi, welcome to this week's lecture, and we're coming to you from Glover, Vermont, and the home of the Bread and Puppet Circus, Theater, and Museum. And this time of year it's closed, but often in the summer, this is the place where this elaborate circus takes place, filled with life-size, larger than life-size puppets and music, and people come from around the world to study puppetry here and to imbibe the culture that has been bread and puppet since the 60s. Sometimes it's very political, and I'm not here to talk about the politics of it one way or the other, but I'm here to focus in on the art and the influence that the vision of Peter Schumann, the founder of Bread and Puppet, has had on me personally as an animator, but also to share with you uniquely this place. And this is something that we can do because we're virtual and online. Puppetry, as you probably know, is a very ancient art form, and it's related to animation because you have moving images, characters and stories and lighting that all come together. And the tradition of movement and dance and choreography and the sort of characterized images of humans and animals and spirits has been around the world. And we can trace its lineage in animation by looking at wayang puppetry from Indonesia, maybe Chinese puppetry, and even puppetry in through Europe and around the world. And it lives very much alive today here in Glover at the Bread and Puppet Circus and Theater. Besides the sheer awesomeness of some of these puppets and these images, what strikes me is the sheer relentlessness of the output. And as an artist, that's something I really admire. It's just non-stop. It's just giving, outpouring of work. And it's less important about maybe what that art looks like. It's just that constant productivity that I struggle with. But I so admire when I see it in an artist who puts out such a volume of work over the course of a career or a lifetime. Festooned over the entire property are just images, and they're very beautiful and simple and elegant in their simplicity, and they're unabashed, and by that I mean they don't apologize for anything. I think an art teacher such as myself might say, well, the hands aren't drawn or articulated properly and the anatomy isn't right, and kind of that's the beauty. They're real. They don't have any pretense of expertise to them. They just have raw expression. And sometimes when teaching commercial artists, I think that is lost. And I'm not saying the commercial art side is wrong. We teach that, and certainly the industry is important. But I offer you this just to look at another way of expression. And what I admire about it so much is its authenticity, is its realness, is its unapologetic expression. And you may like it, you may not like it, but it is unapologetic, and that's what I'm interested in. So what does it mean? To me, having lived close to Bread and Puppet for the past number of years, I've been privileged enough to absorb many shows and a little bit of the culture and the vision and the art that is Bread and Puppet. And it strikes me how antithetical some of that vision is to what I often teach. And I struggle with that because we have to teach and also work within a marketplace as artists. But I think Bread and Puppet and Peter Schumann and his group often remind me personally the importance of a sort of ethical responsibility. Maybe in the world, yes, and to live a life, yes, but also in the work that we do. And for me, that is translated into sort of trying to be particular about assignments I do, trying to work for clients that hopefully are making an impact in a positive way. It doesn't always work out that way, and I'm not here to say that the industry is wrong or anything like that at all. I'm here just basically to share my own experience with this struggle between making money, making a living, serving the marketplace, and art as an expression of a vision or an expression of an ideology. Whether I agree with that or not is irrelevant. It's sort of that struggle. And I think as artists about to graduate or face the world, we're living in a time, and maybe always have, where that balance between making a living and serving clients may often, or sometimes more often than not, come up against some of these ethical dilemmas. And it's just something to talk about and think about. So as we embark on our careers as artists or as illustrators, animators, graphic designers, we are going to be working for clients, and we are going to be working as content experts. And I think that's wonderful, and I support that, and I do that myself. But it's also important to, I think, at least be aware of some of the implications of our work, of the images we create. And we've been trying to talk about that all semester. And we see this not just as, an aesthetic concern, but it's a marketplace concern. If we look at the major animation companies, they're all dealing with the ethical responsibility of how to depict gender and family roles and identity. So it is a marketplace concern, not just a political or a personal concern. We have to take that into account. And again, whether you agree with one particular ideology or not, that's for you to decide. But to account for and be responsible for our impact with our images to an audience, I think, is at the very least worth thinking about, and at the very most, absolutely essential. The work of Peter Schumann and Bread Puppet Theater forces me personally to ask the question, what is my authentic self and my authentic imagery versus what have I been trained to do? And I'm not discounting training, but again, coming to you maybe later in career, still struggling with that idea. What is it that I want to do? And I hear that in so many students. I'm doing this because my family wants me to have a job. All of that's valid. But at some point, I think, from my personal experience, we have to wrestle with this idea of, well, what is it that we want to do? What is going to fulfill our vision or our hope or our need to create and to use these skills, talents, gifts, whatever, and for what good or for what purpose? Mephistopheles can build the machines, he can manufacture the things, but can he give you what the soul needs?